Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to read an article titled Why Older Men Choose Younger Women Even When You're a Much Better Match. And guys, this whole article is written by a woman, and she's covering the whole thing about how guys, older men, will almost always choose younger women over women their own age, okay? Specifically, we're kind of talking about guys that are obviously in their 30s and 40s choosing women in their 20s versus women in their 40s if the guy's in their 40s, or women in their 30s if guys in their 30s. And this is such a common thing that I've gone over the last year. Lots of different articles and stories where the women complain about this. They get to their 30s, and they're at the point they're ready to find the good man, and guess what? A lot of the guys that they want aren't interested in them. Okay, they can't figure it out, and it leaves them angry and frustrated and bitter. And what's always interesting about these stories is where you have the women that they're in their 20s. They go to college, and they're in their 20s. And when there was a time and place that usually a lot of women would start to find guys that they would settle with then, nowadays it's become very common, and very common for the last few decades, where women are now encouraged to basically be as free and enjoy themselves in their 20s the way guys used to always do it, okay? Go be carefree and wild, which in translation means ride the carousel. Pursue advanced degrees, work on your career, all that stuff, and then when you get to your 30s, then you can find any man. That has been the mindset that's been sold to the masses. Well, it doesn't work that way. And again, these women get to their 30s, and the biological clock is ticking. By the time they get to their late 20s, they're freaking out because other women they know are getting married or whatever. But guess what? A lot of the guys, once they get to the age range that they want, the guys that are the top guys, they don't want to get married. Either they don't want to get married, or they're interested in women that are younger, and the women are mad about this, okay? Even though a lot of these women, I guarantee you, mark my words, had plenty of opportunities with good guys during their 20s. Plenty of time. You know, if they were an 8 or above, guaranteed never-ending amount of supply of good guys they could have had, but they didn't want them because they're either being wild, riding the carousel, having fun, or pursuing their careers and convince themselves they're so special that they're going to have no problem getting guys later on in life, but the same type of guys don't want them anymore. So they ultimately choose the nice guy, the guy they didn't want, and they're just complaining and all that, or they just can't get a guy to begin with because they want a guy that's 6 figures, 6 feet tall, 6-pack, close to them in age. And next thing you know, time is passing, and then later in life, they're still alone. And then they're complaining. And then they're writing articles and making YouTube videos complaining and whining. They're insulting younger women for dating the guys that they want to go out with, you know? And they're insulting guys for dating younger women, trying to shame us. When history has shown men have always chosen younger women for lots and lots of reasons. So anyhow, guys, I'm going to go into this here. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Again, this is a woman writing this. And the lady that wrote this, she a little description of her. It says that she is a dating and relationship coach who specializes in communication problems, empowering women. Ding, ding, ding. That's going to kind of give you an idea of what her mindset is. Online dating, relationships, and more. So her article starts off. Most single women in their 30s and 40s are sick and tired of guys their age and dating younger girls. So when they were younger, am I to believe they weren't dating older guys as well? Right there, it says it all. Sick and tired of it. Well, hey, I'm sure you had plenty of opportunities with guys when you were younger, so why'd you pass up on that? Well, we all know why. How many of us can relate to being dumped by a guy who said he wasn't ready, only to find that he proposed to someone else, someone younger, of course? So many women are fed up with guys who are getting older, but never stop dating 25-year-olds. Fed up, we're the bad guys here? Again, you did not have opportunities when you were in your 20s, in your prime, to get together with good guys. Am I to believe that there were no good guys whatsoever that crossed your paths ever? Not a chance in hell. It's bullshit. But it's easy when you were just being young and you were going for the bad boys and the guys that you thought you could get. You felt entitled to the top percentage of guys, which mathematically is impossible because if all women want a certain guy, 6 figures, 6 feet tall, that type of thing, it's not going to work because there aren't that many that go around. It's your own fault that you're alone. So don't hate on guys and blame us for doing what men have been doing since the beginning of time, obviously getting with younger women. Because you get a guy that is doing well for himself, he's in his 30s or 40s, a guy's prime, and he has all these good qualities. What do you think he's going to do? If he can date someone his own age, if he's 40 years old, a 40-year-old woman, or he can easily get women that are 27, 28 years old, what do you think he's going to do? Duh, right? And a lot of women will say, oh, well, you know what? She only wants him because he's got money or something like that. And there is truth to that. But the reality is also a lot of women in their 20s, they want guys that also have their lives together and are mature. And a lot of guys nowadays, no offense to my younger viewers, are immature. A lot of guys in their 20s are immature. You know, they're like they graduate college and not much more mature than they were in high school. So is any wonder a lot of women in their 20s, they actually want a guy that actually can hold a conversation, that doesn't spend his free time playing video games. He doesn't live at home with his mom and dad. And there's nothing wrong if a guy's just got out of school and he's trying to save a little money, living with his mom and dad when he's 23 years old, or he's falling on the hard times. That's one thing. But just living with them in general, milking it as long as he could, and the guy's in his mid to late 20s, get the fuck out and get your own apartment, dude. If you can't afford it, get a better job. But this is the reason why women want older guys, because, see what I mean? So it isn't just women that want guys only for resources if they're in their 20s and in their prime. There's a lot of other elements to this. But you don't see them hating on those younger girls as much. It's easier just to point the finger and make us to be the villains. Anyway, it says here, why do older men like younger women instead of women their own age? You would think that a 45-year-old man would want a relationship with a woman at least somewhat close in his age. Why would you think that? Wouldn't they want someone who has similar life experience, who has some maturity, and a similar level of intellectual development? I've known women in their 20s that, believe me, that were sharper than women twice their age. And but this, you can tell here she's bitter. The way she writes here, definitely bitter. A lot of times they don't seem to. In fact, research shows that at all ages, women prefer men who are close to them in age, while for men, the ideal age of a woman remains a consistent 22 years old. Well, I gotta tell you, knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen, a lot of women in their early 20s are immature as hell, okay? So guys, for you guys that are single and all, I wouldn't waste your time with any woman under the age of 24 or 25, at least here in the United States, because a lot of them are just too damn immature nowadays. Hooking up is one thing, but beyond that, just trust me on that. At what age are men most attractive? According to Dataclysm by author and OkCupid co-founder Christian Rudder, women tend to like a man who is slightly older than them in their 20s, and when they're in their mid-30s, or when they're in their 30s, they like a man who is a few years younger than them. A few years younger than them. However, over time, the trend in attractiveness for females decreases, starting the highest in a woman's 20s and decreasing over time. A man's attractiveness is the opposite and starts increasing over time, reaching their peak at 50, then decreasing. Call me crazy, but it sounds like this article is saying that, guess what? Men get better with age in terms of attractiveness, and women don't get better with age with attractiveness. That's what it says right here. And don't get me wrong, believe me, I know plenty of damn good-looking women that are in their 30s, 40s, and in some cases 50s, but they work, it's rare, and they, especially as the older they get, but it's because they take care of themselves. They're in the gym. They're working their bodies hard. They are eating well, good, clean diet. They dress well. They go to the salon every couple weeks and get their hair done nice. Nails, makeup, dress sexy, okay? They're not gonna, a woman in her 50s who looks fantastic for 50s is not going to compete in the looks department with a girl in her prime in her 20s, but she can still look damn good and damn amazing for her age and get dudes. But you got to do the work. But good luck trying to compete with the 20-somethings that are in their peak and take care of themselves as well. It is what it is. Do men prefer younger women, she asks. Some men prefer younger women, and it's not because women in their 20s have firmer skin. Rather, it's because they don't have as firm opinions on things and have more admiration for older men. According to one study, even the claim that men naturally prefer younger women is an assertion of power cloaked in the language of evolutionary psychology. An older man probably could love a younger woman. However, the relationship will have to deal with generational differences and a gap in understanding and knowledge. With the right communication level of maturity, a relationship between an older man and a younger woman does have the possibility to thrive. It happens all the time. Now, it's rare to have situations where the dude is 20-something years older than the woman, but it's very common. 10 years, very common. Now, a lot of these obviously very wealthy celebrities that you see in the media, They all the time they're much older, and they have women that are 20, 25, 30 years younger than them. But again, they're celebrities and they have status and they got all the money. But guys, I wouldn't be here talking to you if this situation wasn't real. My dad, when he went out, he was married. He had his first marriage and had multiple kids, and it didn't work out. So when he got divorced and he was a bachelor for a while, eventually he met my mom. And when he went on his first date with my mom, he was 45 years old and she was 21. He was a doctor and an officer in the Navy, and she was a nurse and an officer as well. He was happy, she was happy, and they had a good marriage. Were there ups and downs? Sure, all marriages do. But it was they had a good marriage. They loved each other to the end. I was very fortunate there. So it does happen and can work. And were there differences? Yeah, of course. But they worked for each other, so it can happen. But you got bitter women like this writing articles to other bitter women out there just trying to make a buck. Goes on. What is it called when an older man likes a younger woman? This isn't a joke. This is an actual question she has. Little do you know, there is actually a nickname for both a man who exclusively dates younger women and a woman who exclusively dates older men. Ever heard of a cougar? A cougar is a woman who exclusively dates younger men. Much like a cougar, the word for a man who dates a younger woman is also influenced by a big cat. A manther, never heard of this before until today. A manther is a term to call a man who dates younger women, and a panther is what to call a woman who dates older men. Many single women who are otherwise successful, beautiful, and talented find themselves passed over for younger women. Well, notice what she said there. She said beautiful, but she also said successful and talented. Look, don't get me wrong. Guys like women that obviously do well for themselves. Yeah, well, some do. But no guy's going to be sitting on the beach and have a woman walking by and look at her and say, damn, she's hot. She must be successful. Or damn, she's so successful. That's hot. Or damn, she's talented. That's hot. No, he's checking out her ass and saying that's hot. Okay? But you notice a lot of women tend to think that guys should be attracted to the same qualities in a woman that a lot of women are attracted to in a man. So women naturally are drawn to guys and find it attractive guys that are successful and have drive and have talent. That's why she put it in here without probably even realizing that. We are different. Here are 8 important questions to ask yourself about your own attitude towards men and relationships. Number 1, do you love and appreciate men and their differences? Number 2, do you harbor resentment towards men for the hurt they have caused? Number 3, are you afraid or cynical about relationships or marriage? Number 4, how do you see yourself? Number 5, why do you want to get married? Number 6, why do you like this particular man? Number 7, are you having fun? And number 8, do you feel good physically, mentally, and emotionally with or without a man? High-value men have a lot going for them and are looking for a high-value catch. Someone who will make their lives better and who is hopeful, optimistic, and has great and wonderful things ahead of them. Your attitude and energy will either lift a guy up or bring him down. Unless a man feels like his life will be better by marrying you, he will not do it. Absolutely. A guy that has a lot of value, a lot of status, as she mentioned there, who has plenty of options with women, who does well for himself, and in many cases nowadays is indifferent to the outcome, whether he gets her or not. He obviously has high standards, so she better add value to his life, not take away from his high status life. Instead, as the world is his oyster, he will opt for what is easy, the breath of fresh air of a young girl who is fun and like gives. Here's one man's candid explanation why older men like dating younger women. Now, I've read this before, and this guy nails it. Now, listen to what she says here. She says, Peter, whose name has been changed for the sake of privacy, is a 43-year-old, highly successful divorcee who's been dating 23-year-olds since he was 36 years old. Peter has no filters and will tell you exactly what he thinks, void of all emotions and social values. Now, listen to her make her little disclaimer here. She says, be warned, his comments are very offensive, and I disagree with his statements. However, you can extrapolate invaluable insights into how to attract successful, high-quality men. So, what he's about to say, and I wholeheartedly agree with what he's about to say, she, of course, has to say his comments, his opinion, is very offensive. Okay? Let me guess. Basically because she doesn't like what he has to say, therefore it's offensive. That's today's world, I might add, for those of you that haven't picked up on that already. So let me read you what Peter has to say about this very subject. He says, women in their late 20s walk around with a ticking time bomb. Every minute takes them closer to their 30s. Society tells them that having a good relationship sets the foundation of their life, and all their friends are getting married, so they walk around in their head thinking, are you the one? Are you committed? Are you going to marry me? When are you going to propose? It's a lot of pressure. Who wants that? The fun of just dating is gone. They are on a mission, plus many of them don't even know what they want. They just want to be proposed to because it's a badge of honor. Guys, I've known a number of women that they get close to 30, the big 3-0, usually when they hit 29, and a lot of them start freaking out because they're hitting that big 30 and they're not on the way to an altar, they don't have a guy, and they start losing it. No joke. And of course, a biological clock, and then they hit 30, and what he said right here, basically wondering when they're going to get proposed, or also they want to get proposed because it's a badge of honor, because a lot of these women, it's not hard for just an okay-looking woman to get plenty of guys that want to sleep with them, but to get a guy to actually want to marry them and put a ring on their finger, like he said, the badge of honor, okay? And, of course, a lot of women want to have their day. They get to walk down the aisle, have the white dress, and be the center of attention. Plenty to do. But this guy understands, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that drama and that pressure and all that. This guy, who's obviously divorced, and he's 43 years old, my age, just wants to have fun. Something easy. He goes on, 30-year-olds have a compounded set of issues. Not only are they still in a rush to get married, but they're also often bitter. Like they've been chewed up by the dating game and are pretending to be optimistic, all the while harboring a secret hatred and disillusionment of men. Deep down, many of them think that men suck, they never commit, and that all the good men are gone or taken. Each time they meet men, they think, are you going to hurt me? Are you another loser? Are you another time waster? What are your issues? Why haven't you settled down yet? Or why did you get divorced? They are sick of dating and just want to find anyone and get this dating and marriage thing over with. That's what happens to a lot of women in their 30s. They get to their 30s, they want to settle, and guess what? They've been told all those years that you can get it, it'll be just the same, it'll be easy in your 30s, and guess what? It's not as easy, because guess what? A lot of the guys they want, yes, are in fact married or don't want to get married. So ultimately, even though they had plenty of opportunities in their 20s, passed up plenty of good guys, at that point they realize, oh shit, I got to settle, because otherwise, I'm getting older and it'll be harder to have children, because when women get older, it is obviously more challenging to have children and all that. And they end up settling. And they choose a guy they wouldn't have given the time of day to years earlier. And as any wonder that a lot of these marriages become unhappy once the whole honeymoon period is over with. Even if they may have liked the guy as a person, but they certainly weren't drawn to him. He wasn't their top choice by any means. And then you have your stereotypical, boring, sexless, loveless, unhappy marriage. To top it off, many women in their 30s are very successful in their own right. But I want a woman, not a business colleague. I get plenty of stress and competition at work. The young ones are googly-eyed, easily impressed, fun, and free-spirited. They don't pressure me consciously or subconsciously to get married and have kids. Whatever happened to light-hearted fun? And that was Peter's very realistic opinion on the subject, which I agree wholeheartedly. Now, listen to this, guys. There's a few... There were 3 comments below, because this allows commentary, that people, both one woman and 2 guys wrote, and I'm going to read it to you because it's dead on. The first comment is from a woman, and she says, it's very quick but to the point. She says, my boyfriend is 25 years older than me, and I love older men for their maturity and calmness. Can never imagine myself with a younger guy, tried it once, and no way. Right there, maturity and calmness. Now, I'm sure his bank account and his resources definitely are a plus, let's be honest here. But right there, like I said, maturity and calmness. A lot of guys in their 20s are immature as hell. Okay? You guys watching this, you got it. I mean, I'm not saying you are if you're watching this and you're in your 20s, but I'm sure you know plenty of guys that are very immature. Another one, this is written by a guy. This is a little long, but this comment is dead on. This guy says, When a woman is 21, pretty, and has guys beating down her door for a date, she's winning. She gets to choose from the best of the lot, which normally is older and more established guys. The 21-year-old man has no value until he hits his early 30s. Now he has options, and the 21-year-old female who turned 30 and no longer gets all the free validation and attention now wants the 31-year-old male to settle down and commit to her. No. There is no way any man who just hit his stride and now has many dating and sexual options to settle for one of these leftover women. She, in most cases, waited too long, and instead of cashing in when the odds were in her favor, waited because she thought she could get something better. Sorry, ladies, the flaws and failure of feminism is now on for full display. And that's true. Now, don't get me wrong, you can get plenty of darn good-looking women in their 30s, but it's not the same in their 20s. And a lot of women don't want to hear that. Ladies, no matter, this guy's continue on here. He says, ladies, no amount of shaming is going to make a man feel bad for marrying a younger woman. Considering that most women in their 30s have had a large amount of sexual partners experiences, it makes sense to get a younger model. Who wants a car with lots of miles and wear and tear? Today's modern women have been run through more times than the Holland Tunnel. Sounds like this guy's been watching Coach Greg Adams. That dude likes to use that expression. And last one, this is from a guy. This guy says, they kind of have it right. The reason we date younger women is because they aren't carrying around all the anti-male bitterness. There's a trend of middle-aged women treating men like either criminals or buffoons. Why would we submit ourselves to that? Exactly. Now, does that mean all women are like that? No, but a lot are. So guys just don't want to deal with that bullshit if they can get younger women. So, but anyhow, guys, another article. I know I do these every once in a while to show you what is out there, the mindset, but this woman obviously is writing this to cater to women, and it sounds to me that she's a little bitter herself. But again, I don't feel bad for anybody like this because guess what? There were plenty of opportunities when you were younger, and I don't want to hear that we were told to go get higher degrees. We were told to go be free and wild in our 20s. We were told to go be career women. We were told that we could easily find a guy in our 30s, okay? We were told. That is what you hear all the time. Well, guess what? Can you think for yourselves? Really? Come on here. You don't need Cosmopolitan magazine to do your thinking. All right here. Now I know it's been estimated that 60% of the population are sheep and will just, like a herd, go along with everybody else does. But you know what? No excuses. Your life is your own. Think for yourself. So, and you certainly shouldn't be hating on younger women for doing what pretty much has happened pretty much all throughout mankind, all throughout human history with mankind. And certainly not being angry and hating on guys for doing what we do. That's just how it is, okay? You had plenty of opportunities, so make your bed, you lie in it, all right? Anyhow, guys, that was it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.